Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Just got out of a convention oversight committee meeting, so yes, it's been one of those weeks. I will definitely not, I'm trying to get in the middle here. I will definitely not be here on Friday, just so that you know. But I hope to do a show today and tomorrow. Keep going with history. Listen, when I'm just doing my history shows, I keep saying podcasts from the olden days. When I just do my history shows, then you know, I'm pretty stress-free. There's not too much else going on that I want to cover. It's not that there isn't other things going on. It's just not anything that I care to cover. Not really wanting to be a drama llama. But we are going to address, for one quick second, the elephant in the room. But we'll do that after I do my YouTuber stuff. So, first of all, please go subscribe on Rumble. That's not YouTuber stuff, but that's just streamer stuff. Because, you know, my days at YouTube might be numbered depending on what I end up talking about when I'm not talking about history. But follow me on Twitter. I'm on like a 1 week break, but I'll be back tweeting like I always do. But I'm Karen Ann Harlos on Facebook and Twitter, but I'm mostly on Twitter. Also, please subscribe here at YouTube as well. It super helps. And last but not least, and thank you so much, Samuel, please become a patron. It really helps. And it's patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty or a Twitch subscriber or the Amazon Twitch thing, or I forgot what they call it, a super thanks, or there's like all kinds of things. And I'm Rumble, it's like Rumble Riots, or I got to learn all this. Apparently I can live stream to Rumble now. I just need to learn how to set up the RTMP key. I haven't watched the videos yet on how to do that. That is going to be a while again. And I thank you so much, Samuel, for your support. So we are now on to episode 2 of the May-June 1975 time period. But let's address the envelope in a room. Envelope in the room, the elephant in the room. And probably going to have to do this a few times in a few intros of shows. Yes, there is a trademark suit in Michigan. Now, I want to answer a couple questions and then tell you other questions I'm just not going to entertain. Once the lawyers are involved, the lawyers handle that. The people who are blabbing their mouth about this on social media probably need to listen to their lawyers and shut the F up, because that's the first thing a lawyer will tell you. But some things can say. A question I keep getting is, why couldn't the LNC not take a side and just let the two sides duke it out? There's a lot of reasons for that. One of them being one side's committing fraud, one side followed the rules. But there's a more fundamental question to that. And perhaps you might consider this a flaw in our bylaws. And perhaps it is. But our bylaws are what our bylaws are. We have a duty, we have an obligation to recognize one state-level affiliate in each state. You can't have two people claiming to be state-level affiliates, having access to the CRM, all the benefits of national party recognition. You just can't. It's against our bylaws. So we have two choices. Disaffiliate everybody and not have a presidential candidate in Michigan, which if both sides broke the rules, I wouldn't be fine with not having a candidate, but that would be the right thing to do. Or you recognize the rightful affiliate. So, I mean, that's just the reality. You want to know what option's not on the table? Ignoring it and just saying, let those two fight it out. It's against our bylaws. Not going to go against our bylaws. So yes, there is a suit. You will not be hearing me report on it. You might hear me say factual things, like if somebody, like what I just said is a factual thing, but I'm not going to be discussing legal theories and things like that. And if I may stray from script for 1 second, some people on the other side, in my non-lawyer opinion, you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to trademark. You really don't. And it's in your power to end it right now by just stopping and in working within the legitimate affiliate to win legitimately if you have the numbers and you can. This isn't your... Let's just leave it at that, because the legal arguments I've seen spewed by the other side, embarrassing. Let's go now, though, to history. And because that's a much more cheery subject, and just wanted to acknowledge that that's happened. There is, by the way, there is another lawsuit out there. National has nothing to do with that. So if you hear about some other Michigan lawsuit going on, we're not involved in that. Go talk to the people in Michigan about that. That's nothing that I'm involved in. I mean, I'm aware of it, but it's not my place to talk about it publicly. All right. So we're going to be on the first page. We already dealt with National Convention plans set. So now we're at new candidates seek LP nominations. Oh, and by the way, because it is public, I did want to go show you guys something, because I know some people are going to have some questions on this whole trademark thing. Court filings are public, and they've already been made public by many sources already. So rather than having a bunch of weird speculation, give me 1 second here. I'm pulling up Lpedia. Let me go here. On Lpedia, there is a timeline of events. I don't have all of the documents that led up to here. Anyone can edit Lpedia. So, but if you go to Lpedia and you go to Libertarian Party of Michigan Leadership Controversy 2022, we're probably going to have to change that to 2022 to 2023. But if you scroll all the way, oops. I'll fix this. There's a broken tab. This link will be fixed. You'll see that the complaint is linked here. Let me just pull. I'll fix that so that it links properly. I did this earlier and I didn't do it right. But let's just pretend like that link was working. If you want to go read it for yourself, you can go to Lpedia and read it for yourself. Okay? It's 121 pages, including exhibits. Go ahead and read it for yourself, if that's what you want to do. Okay. Now let's get back to the show. Let me get that off the screen. Just wanted to let you know, so you're not relying upon innuendo, third-party stuff. Go read it for yourself. Whatever. Alrighty. New candidates seek LP nominations. So let's see what was going on in 1975. Riggs. So Guy Riggs in Poughkeepsie, New York. Guy W. Riggs, longtime political activist and twice a Libertarian candidate. Sam, you're here. Can you go fix that tag for me on Lpedia? I forgot to put brackets. You know what I did? It's media, new tab, what's supposed to have the squiggly brackets. And I think I put squiggly brackets in the front and then square brackets on the end, so it broke the links. It's going to drive me crazy. And I don't have my Lpedia login saved here. Well, you don't have, I could do it after the show. If you're on your phone, you probably can't. But it's driving me crazy now that I know that link is broken. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, Guy Riggs, longtime political activist and twice a Libertarian candidate for New York State Assembly, has announced his candidacy for the presidential nomination of the Libertarian Party. Riggs received attention in Libertarian circles when, in 1972 and 74, he sought the 99th District Assembly seat representing the Poughkeepsie area in upstate New York. New York was super active during this period of time, like kicking ass and taking names. A former Republican committeeman and Goldwater volunteer, Riggs has been a Libertarian Party member since its early beginnings. He has been employed by IBM for 23 years and is a World War II veteran. In his announcement of candidacy, Riggs stated that he would like to be considered the man the LP hired to be its salesman for liberty. Riggs further called for politics the Libertarian way and proposed a contract between himself and the Libertarian Party should he obtain the presidential nomination. Wow, well, this ain't going to happen. The contract would provide living expenses. Yeah, the party's going to pay your living expenses, life and disability insurance, and full reimbursement of campaign expenses. Yeah, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. But hey, you know, if you watch the System is Down video that came up, go check out his and go subscribe to his channel. He has a video from the Libertarian Party of Florida convention, and one of the things he clipped out in his interview with me was when I said that Joe Exotic made fun of my hair, and I'm like, you're making fun of my hair? Have you seen your hair? Go, queen. You go, queen. So anyway, like with this guy, okay, you want us to pay all of your expenses. Got it. You go, queen. Oh. In addition, Riggs would receive an incentive bonus. What do you think? We're hiring you to be our presidential candidate? Guy, I think I might even know you. I'm trying to think. Do I know Guy Riggs? Is he still around? Anyway, sorry if I just find that funny. Of 1 cent per vote up to a total of 250,000 votes. And Timothy, yes, I am looking forward to seeing you guys. I don't know if I let you guys know. Well, you know, obviously, Timothy, but I mean the rest of my audience. I will be in Oregon. This will be, is it the third time? Is it the second or third time? I know I was there once with Nick, because I'll never forget when he dropped a UBI on y'all. And he looked back at me and I'm like, and afterwards he says, "Sounds, you didn't care for what I said, did you, Ms. Harlos?" And I said, no. No, I didn't. Oh, but I can't remember if it's the second or the third time. You all have to remind me. I can look it up on my Lpedia page. Haroff. Minneapolis, St. Paul. Kay Haroff, 1974 candidate for U.S. Senator from Ohio, has announced her candidacy for the LP nomination for president. She made her announcement June 7th at the Minnesota LP State Convention. Haroff became active in Republican politics in the early 1950s, read Atlas Shrugged in 1960, and founded you're going to like this, Nathan. Pay attention. The Cuyahoga County Draft Goldwater Committee. After Goldwater's defeat, she left the Republican Party. She joined the LP in 1972 and was founding chairperson of the Ohio LP. In 1974, she ran for U.S. Senator as an independent. Due to harsh ballot laws, she could not appear as LP against John Glenn and ran an active campaign that yielded about 80,000 votes. Haroff was recently elected to the National Executive Committee of the LP, is once again state chairperson of the Ohio LP, and is currently a businesswoman in Cleveland. Haroff says she decided to seek the nomination because I was concerned that the Libertarian Party put forth candidates with a clear-cut, unique, libertarian image, she says, not message. I hope to put to rest once and for all that conservative right-wing label the news media have tried to stick on us. She feels that the LP can expand its appeal to groups which only the left in the past has appealed to: blacks, Chicanos, gays, feminists, prisoners, and students. Haroff is the third declared candidate for the nomination. Others are Roger Lee McBride, the Virginia elector who supported Hospers for president in 1972, and Guy Riggs, a former LP State Assembly candidate from Poughkeepsie, New York. And then there's an address given. The link is fixed. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. And Paul, by the way, Mr. Latham keeps amending a proposal P, so we need to amend proposal P again. I'm just like getting so confused. He's not proposing to amend Convention Rule 3 now. I think he's proposing to amend Convention Rule 8. Next, Trotter. I had a really good friend with the last name of Trotter, which this reminds me of. And one of my favorite expressions from my friend Trotter, he was a missionary actually in China for a really long time, but he had said, it was something where somebody had said, you know, who was peddling really, really terrible ideas, that he was too harsh. And he said, well, if someone comes to my house and dumps a load of horse patookie in the middle of my floor, the first thing I'm going to think of is not, how are you doing, brother? It's going to be, please shovel this shit out. That's something I'll always remember from my friend. All right. Horse patookie. That's where I got that expression from. If you ever hear me say patookie, it's from Mr. Trotter. Santa Barbara, California. Jim Trotter, a libertarian activist here, different Trotter, has announced his intention to seek the Libertarian Party nomination for vice president. He is the first candidate to announce his interest in this post. The party's nominee will be designated at the LP National Convention in New York City on Labor Day weekend. Trotter has been involved with community organizing and politics on the left side of the spectrum for several years. He was a member of a libertarian faction within Students for a Democratic Society in the late 1960s and was involved in the Southern California anti-war movement. I became an economic libertarian in 1970 when I discovered the A is A directory. And A is A is obviously an objectivist because, you know, Ayn Rand was very fond of saying A is A. And it was a newsletter that was out in the early 70s. When I discovered the A is A directory through an ad in the Whole Earth catalog, Trotter says. For the past 2 years, Trotter has been selling gold and silver coins and giving seminars on hard money investment. He is a member of both the Santa Barbara Libertarian Party and the Peace and Freedom Party, and is involved with the University of California at Santa Barbara Society for Individual Liberty. Lost my spot. He was a precinct worker for the school board campaigns of Libertarians Lynn Kinsky and Ruth Sutton earlier this year. He is an ex-Marine and a member of the National Rifle Association. Trotter says he's running to help the LP appeal to liberals and leftists. For example, he says, there are a lot of former new leftists who feel alienated from the socialist dogmatists who are just looking for something like libertarianism to come along. It just has to be presented in the right way. Pun not intended, I am sure. He says that if he gets the nomination, he wants to do most of his speaking to local groups, libertarian, left-wing, and conservative. He says that the key to organizing any political movement is at the local grassroots level. In order for libertarians to be successful, they must concentrate on local organizing. People will more readily listen to a local-based movement than to a national movement. And I think that's exactly correct in that point of view. You know, I know Colorado isn't the first to come up with this a lot. This has been a saying for a long time. But we're really embracing in Colorado the slogan that libertarianism is local. Firmly believe that. Let's have a sip of sangria. This is not going to be a long episode. I kind of intend these history ones to be just short little tidbits. So we're going to just go over on page 2 the best written letter to the editor, and that will probably be it for this evening. Plus, I'm super tired. We had hailstorms today. Like, apparently, like, just like 8 miles away from my work, people were being told to go to their basements because there was a tornado warning. We had hail all over the place. It was crazy. It was crazy pants today. Oh, and Sam said he was fixing it at the same time. That's funny. Okay. Oh, you want to know what I posted, Paul? I posted the picture of Murray Rothbard's grave marker. I did that yesterday, I think. So if you go to the Murray Rothbard article on Lpedia, you'll see the grave marker is there. If you could edit that and say what cemetery that was at, and if you can recall at all when that picture was taken, you could even put that, it was the group of us that had taken it. Maybe even tell a little story about how there was that Mises Caucus stuff there. I think that would be super cool to preserve in Lpedia. But I did at least get a picture of the marker put onto Lpedia. All right. Best written letter to the editor. The LP News awards $10 to the author of the best recent letter to an editor published in a newspaper. The letter must mention the Libertarian Party and should list the local or national address and telephone number of the party. It doesn't really allow you to do that anymore in letters to editors, but apparently then they could. Runners-up letters were Bill Stanley in April 21st, Thousand Oaks News Chronicle. I want to look these up because I'd like to read these runner-up letters to y'all, if we can find these. James Jerry Jones in the May 2nd Boise, Idaho Statesman, and Ronald L. Dara in the May 22nd Indianapolis Star. The best letter, though, appeared in the May 1st Caldwell, Idaho News Tribune. Here are some excerpts. To the editor. The Libertarian Party asks applicants for, oh God, this is coming up so much. I love it. I love hearing about the pledge. The applicants for membership, it asks applicants for membership to sign the following statement. I hereby certify that I do not believe in or advocate the initiation of force as a means of achieving political or social goals. This expresses the basic principle of political morality. And notice he said political morality of the Libertarian Party. Why would anyone believe in or advocate the initiation of force as a means of achieving political or social goals? What are the reasons or motives for doing so? Why use force instead of reason? Initiated force is always and only used in human relationships for the purpose of attempting to control the actions of other humans by compelling them to accept and practice opinions contrary to their own judgments. And I love the way he started this. We're not careful enough with this. Some people reject the pledge because they don't understand it's the initiation of force. There's a big difference between that and just saying force. So notice he said initiated force is always very carefully worded. Most people believe in the use of initiated force in human relationships because it is a dominant aspect of our, I love this, semi-civilized cultural heritage and has not been effectively challenged or even questioned or acknowledged. It is merely generally accepted without being identified. Most people seem to subconsciously feel that the use of initiated force in human relationships is both effective and efficient. They are motivated to use it because they feel it is faster and requires less effort than explaining. I'm going to disagree with him here, even though he didn't. He said subconsciously feel. I'm not even sure. I think most people subconsciously feel initiated force is wrong. And I think they consciously feel that. I think where the disconnect is they don't realize that the political process is almost all force and is almost all initiated force. I just don't think people have connected those dots. I know I didn't. They feel that reason is less effective than force because some people will change their reasoning and possibly logically refute it, while a superior force cannot be refuted. I can tell you I didn't feel that way. I thought the political process was reason. And I think most people think like that. I remember when the light bulb went off when I was talking with a family member who we were talking about taxes. And they're like, how can you say taxation is theft? And I said, I don't consent. And then they just looked at me. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't consent. And I never, you know, and the light bulb went off. That's force. Even if it's for something you think is really good. You know, I think donating to animal shelters is really good. But if I force you to do it, that's wrong, even if I give them money to save dogs. Government is a social institution for amassing force superior to all other possible forces. That is, in fact, true. We are so indoctrinated, and that's what I was trying to say, by our culture, that the threat of the use of initiated force by government is sufficient to get most people to acquiesce and accept in practice the politicians' opinions, even though they are convinced those opinions are harmful to the country and to the people. Politics can be said to be the art of limiting the choices of the people as much as possible. The politicians continually add more and more restrictions on the choices of their victims until the victims are totally limited or revolt. Isn't that the history? That's the history of mankind. Your support of the party of principle, the Libertarian Party, can be an effective way of withholding your sanction. That is such objectivist language. I withhold my sanction of the use of initiated force in human relationships. Good job, Dale G. Green of Caldwell, Idaho. All right, that is it for this week. And we kept it at 30 minutes. That's right about where I would like it. So I'm just going to give a few minutes in case there are questions. I like to hang out for a few minutes. In case there are, I'll answer them the best I can. Take a few sips of sangria and then off to dreamland. I'm exhausted. Homemade sangria. It's really good. So I know there's about a 30-second delay. So I'm giving it a few on the chat. Sometimes my mind just disconnects. I know what I want to say, but it just doesn't come out my mouth. Well, all right, everyone. I guess that will be it. Don't think there is any questions. At least it doesn't look like it. So I will, God willing, see you tomorrow to do another episode, but I will be out of pocket completely on Friday. So that will be it. And a closing I haven't done in a while that I need to take back. I used to do it on my Big L podcast when I had that for a while. So have an awesome evening. Mi guapas de libertad. Bye-bye.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want to